Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah Bahasham, YAHAWASHI Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chayin Apash coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be centered around that feeling that you get sometimes being in this world. And it's a feeling of languishing, you know, a feeling of not being motivated, being very demotivated, you know, a lack of vitality, which men are not supposed to be feeling that way. Okay, and women for that matter are not supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to wake up with energy. You're supposed to wake up with ready to conquer the day, and a particular oomph that you're supposed to have behind you. But I want to say most of the time you wake up in this kingdom, it's a very lazy type, droggy spirit, so to speak. And you may not be a lazy person, but it's the feeling that you have on you, and that's because of the destruction of this earth. This earth has been completely destroyed through Esau, Edom, and this wickedness, and it's just gotten increasingly worse. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 4. It says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish." Okay, they're in a very languishing spirit. Now let's look up the word languish. All right. It says "imal," which means to be weak, to droop, right? And you have that kind of droopy spirit, in this kingdom, man. To languish, to be exhausted. Yeah, because then the reason you have that spirit is because spiritually we're exhausted. It's not necessarily a physical exhaustion, it's a spiritual exhaustion. All the constant you know uh how do you say this, major events that Esau constantly pushes out there in the news. You constantly hearing an abnormal amount of major news, major events. You have, constant deception, constant discrimination, constant, lies. And, especially the more you learn this truth, the more you learn, the worse it becomes for you. The more your spirit is attacked. Okay. And what happens is you tend to grow kind of weak in spiritually because you're being constantly beat down. So we're in a state of being exhausted. Okay, let's look up this word exhausted. We're going to look up some words. It says to be drained of one's physical or mental resources, very tired. And that's what we are. Oh, look here. One of the synonyms is worn out, right? The scriptures say that they would what? That they would wear out the saints. Let's get that in Daniel's. Okay, and that's the feeling that we get. It's not a good feeling because as a man, you're not supposed to feel like that. You're supposed to be vital. You're supposed to have vitality. Okay, this is Daniel 7 and 25. Matter of fact, I'll start at 24. It says, "And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3." Right, that's dealing with Babylon the Great, America, okay, who subdued the Spanish, the French, and the British. It says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints," right? So to make them to become exhausted, right? Not just physically, but also spiritually. It's both. It's physical and spiritual. You know, you got to the way we work in this society. We're out of the year, if you're lucky, you could get 2 weeks break out of the year. I don't even get two weeks out of the year. But if you're lucky, you get 2 weeks out of the year or 1 week. Shit, I don't even get 1 week. You know, I miss a couple days and I feel like I missed a lot. I missed, you know what I'm saying? Because you're constantly chasing bills, you're constantly behind on payments, you're constantly this and that because there's constant payments coming at you, you get tickets left and right, whatever the case may be, you know? This place where I'm at, they're famous for giving park there's nowhere to park. They got bike lanes everywhere, there's nowhere to park. You know, you're better off damn near taking a bus in this place. But when you do work, where you need the car, you have no choice. So it's a constant headache, constant payments, constant, worrying, constant. You know what I'm saying? And you have to manage that in the spirit, right? Because we're in this truth, and the scriptures tell us about managing those constant thoughts, and because when you constantly think upon those things and ponder upon those things, it builds cortisol, which leads to all kind of manners of disease. Cortisol is an enemy. That's that stress. You know, it's too much, man. You know, it says, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Right? And Esau still has the power in his hand right now. Okay. And I want to look up the word languishing in the regular dictionary. It says to lose or lack vitality, grow weak or feeble. Right? Now let's look up this word vitality. Vitality means the state of being strong and active energy. Yeah, men are not strong like how they used to be, man. Every year the testosterone goes down significantly. Okay, how much, let's look up this. How much has testosterone decreased over the years? Let's see. I want it to be specific, but I'll let's say decreased since, let's say, the 1800s. Since the 1800s, because that's a major hormone that men need. Okay, let's see what we can find here. Just want them to get to the point, man. Show the chart that I'm looking for, like a chart or something like that. There's 17. Obedient. Okay. Says the biological. I want to see what it says here. It says the biological effects of the testes and testosterone are known since antiquity. Aristotle knew the effects of castration, and his hypothesis on fertilization is one of the first scientific encounters in reproductive biology. Over centuries, castration has been performed as punishment and to produce obedient slaves. Yeah, because you lose your masculinity, but also to preserve the soprano voices of perpetual pre-pubertal pre-pubertal boys, right? Because when you cut them testes off, you don't get that deep voice. All right, man. But anyways, I wanted to see the numbers, man. I don't know. Wish they just had something simple so I could just look at the numbers, man. Oh, I got rid of it. Salakia. That's why it's better just. Anyways, since the I'll say the 19. I'll say since 1900s. I'll say since the 1900s. Uh, okay, 20 years. Say in the last 20 years. Okay, 20 years. It says Bro, I'm still not seeing anything clear cut to the point. This is how much. This is how much. Isn't there an AI mode? Okay, let's get through with the AI mode, man. AI is just easier to deal with, bro. Like, I swear. It says decades long decline. Okay. It says, oh, let's read this. It says reports on the decrease of all male levels vary, partly due to the lack of available data from the 20th century. However, generational studies that compare testosterone levels at the same age suggest a substantial decline. For example, a 2007 study found that men born in the 1960s had testosterone levels 17% lower than men born in the 1920s. Okay? So even from the 20s to the 60s, the testosterone decreased by almost 20%. Okay? So they were 20% less masculine, you know? You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, man, this whole earth, and this goes into some of the lifestyle factors that contribute obesity. You know, that's why we gotta try to, get that belly away, man. Keep that belly away as much as we can, which it's so hard to lose weight, man. You know? It's hard to get fully, cut up like you want to get, you know, it's rough. It's a rough road, man. You know, sedentary lifestyle. That's why the apostles push walking, constantly walking, right? Because when I was younger, I was doing a lot of walking. Okay, you get these cars and you think it's an upgrade in life, but it really ends up destroying you. All these conveniences that Esau has ultimately ends up destroying you, man. Diet. The diet, the foods are all messed up. You got to learn what works with your body, because everybody's not the same too. People think everyone just drinks smoothies and they're gonna be healthy. Nah, everybody's system it needs different things. Okay, and I'm learning that. It says stress and sleep issues, right? You're not getting enough sleep. Oh, hey, I have that problem too. I don't sleep a lot. A lot of times I don't sleep, like maximum 6 hours, and I'm not even accustomed to sleep long. So I'll wake up within 6 hours. Okay, sometimes 5 hours. I'm not accustomed to sleeping long. It says decrease in smoking, and so on and so forth. Um, Smoking, what? Some days increase. Okay, but anyways, this is whatever, man. We're not looking at this, saying that basically because you stopped smoking, you lost testosterone. Nah, we're dealing with the other factors, the natural factors, you know, and that leads to you being languishing, man. Ultimately, you having that lack of testosterone, has you in a spirit of languishing, and each, plus the plastics that the micro plastics that we consume, that leads to estrogen increase. Okay, you can't get away from microplastics. Esau's created a world where you can't get away from that shit. And then this devil was gonna tell us that he put us in a better world, that we would be in a grass hut if it wasn't for him. Well, maybe people were happy in the grass hut. Okay, people were much more happy in the grass hut. They were eating good food. Okay, they were healthy. Okay, they were able to own land. Okay, they didn't have to wake up and constantly slave, 6 days a week, to 60 hours a week, just to make ends meet and barely eat. So that's better. But these are the same devils that'll go to the woods and live out there in the woods and live van life and all that shit, right? And talk about how free it is. But they see, so you devils have declined the quality of life. Your rulership has made the quality of life worse, where there's actually no rest here. You don't rest in this kingdom. You don't, even when you're resting, you're not resting. Even when you're sitting down on the couch, you're thinking about something. A bill you need to pay or some shit. Okay? And we got to practice to not do that, because ultimately, man, that leads to more cortisol, man. Okay? Matter of fact, let me read uh, no, there's a scripture which says put off this is away the burdens of men. Put off now the weak nature. See, Jake is, hey, men are in a weak nature right now. Okay? And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Right? Understand that the kingdom is on its way, that this kingdom is going down, right? And don't work, but that doesn't mean to throw away your life, because it ain't gonna help you to just throw away your whole life and not pay attention to the bills you need to pay, paying your car note. That's not gonna help. Okay? But what I'm saying is, don't ponder too much on these things. Practice to not linger too much on this shit. You know, pray to YAHAWASHI. Don't linger too much on this garbage that we got to deal with, man. Because this thinking about this stuff too much, all it does is destroy you. It destroys you. It says, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." Yeah, and it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. We think this world's going to get better. You think it's going to be easier to pay bills ultimately? Ultimately, things are going to get worse. Okay, like the Lord might put brothers in a better position depending on who you are, but then there's still other brothers that are going to be losing their jobs, and so then what? We gotta help those brothers, man. You know, we gotta take those things on, right? But hey, thank you, how about Shimmy Shai, that we have a brotherhood, because without, hey, these people that don't have this, imagine how through they are. You know, at least with the brotherhood, you got something. You know, you can go somewhere to the camp fund to get a little something, something if you get into a hard place, man. They don't have that cushion. Shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein? Okay, yeah, man. There's gonna be a lot of evil increasing, man. So we have to flee from these times to come, man. Okay, by what? By cleaving unto Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, and it's crazy because when you start focusing on trying to, get more bread and doing these different things to get more money, you start to wane in the spirit. You know, you start to get, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, it's just a constant battle. You know, it's a constant battle that we got to go through, and yeah, man, and all these different things, year after year, it weighs on the body. You know, you start to look older than you should be looking. I'm supposed to be look young. My father has a baby face. My father look young into his age. Damn near you start looking older than him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, man, it's all this goddamn stress, man. All this shit you got to go through, man. But hey, hey, we have to learn to manage that, man. All these things, they do make us stronger in the spirit. Okay, they do make us stronger in the spirit, but the flesh suffers for it. This is Micah 2:10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction." And this is just a video I pulled up, and he happened to be saying something that's on topic to what I'm speaking about in this lesson. Um, it goes together. So, I'm gonna play a bit of what he has to say. I didn't watch the full. I just listen to the beginning, and I said it ties in. So I'm gonna play this.
Hey, everybody. So, today I want to talk about our modern Great Depression. So, let's start with a radical idea. You might not actually be depressed, you might just be perceptive. If you're not at least mildly depressed in today's world, I have questions.
Right. When he says you might just be perceptive, the scriptures say that, with much wisdom cometh much grief, because the more you know about this wicked world, the more the more you have grief. Okay. And the men of the Lord, who knows more than us? Who knows more than the men that was given the secrets of YAHAWASHI, and why everything we hear from these people is vexing to the spirit, like it was vexing to Lot. Okay. And Yahawashi said about Yahawashi, he was a man acquainted with grief. Imagine him who come on, man. Imagine him who who knew everything. Come on, man. He was grieving, man, hearing this crap and seeing the wickedness of this earth, man. So hey, man, I'm telling you, bro. If you feel this way, Akim, you're not alone, man. You feel this way. Hey, I feel this way all the time, man. Shit, I feel this way right now. I feel in a languishing, like a languishing spirit right now as we speak, man. And if you drink liquor the day before, if you drink wine, forget about it. Forget about it, man. Forget about it.
You're either heavily medicated, deeply in denial, or you've joined some in today's world. I have questions.
Let me back up here.
You might not actually be depressed. You might just be perceptive. If you're not at least mildly depressed in today's world, I have questions. You're either heavily medicated, deeply in denial, or you've joined some doomsday sex cult in the desert. And honestly, good for you if that's the case.
Hey, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. He said if you ain't feeling depressed and messed up in this society right now, then something's wrong with you. Okay, well that's Proverbs. Like I just said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So we know that the wicked are in rulership right now. So I don't know why these Edomites are getting so mad at Jake when it's your own rulers that are effing you over.
Because here's the thing. You're living in a world where your boss makes 400 times your salary and then sends you smiley face emojis when he cuts your hours back. Where entire industries exist just to distract you from the brutal reality of the human condition.
That's right. That's right.
And where every
This is bread. It's all bread and circuses. These things that they have out here, all these conveniences and amenities and TV shows, which Esau's telling you is a beauty. Oh, this is a great world we created. Look, you get to watch Netflix. You have a cell phone, and this is all to distract you from the terrible living condition that you're actually living in, the reality. Okay?
You see is screaming, you're not enough. But if you buy this, you might be enough for a brief time until you buy more and more and more. And if that doesn't make you at least a little soul sick, congratulations. You're either a sociopath or you're already dead.
You're already dead. Anyways, I just want to play this. So, you understand, hopefully brothers understand the sentiment. And there's so many videos like this. And these are the videos that blow up a lot because this is how the general masses are feeling. This is how they're feeling, right? The reason they listen to this content because they can relate. I used to tell people, if you're not depressed, you're not paying attention, and that's it. So people are in this same spirit, man, right? So this Edomite kingdom, it wears out your soul, your spirit, man. It's exhausting. Even the news it's like, so much different things happening, bro. It's all negative. The music that doesn't help. That only adds on to the destruction. I listen to 70s souls music. I listen to 80s soul. I listen to R&B. The older R&B. I rather the older R&B than the new R&B. I don't really like the 80s R&B, man. I don't even hey man, all the modern music is really low vibrational, to be honest, man. Listen to it from time to time, but I mostly listen to the old school stuff because it has a better vibration to it. Okay. And even that's not perfect because of Esau's put it in a particular hertz. When you look up the hertz, Esau has it in a hertz that's not natural to the body and not in sync with nature. There's so many things, man. These rituals Esau does. He's the TV, the blue screen on the phone and on the computer screen. There's so much things, micro metals that are inside of you. Hey man, it's a lot. It's a lot that has broken people down in this place. That's why the people are languishing, as the scriptures say. They're languishing, right? The haughty people of the earth do languish. Okay. Matter of fact, let me read this part. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And this is what Esau has done, and he's telling you it's better. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Okay? Few men left. That's what's getting ready to come, because the Lord is about to burn this place. All right. That's how angry he is with this setup. Anyways, with that, little one, this is edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.